All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Thursday morning, or at least it's beautiful at my house. I don't know about yours, but today we're going to talk about protecting the beneficiaries from enrollment fraud and talk about some things that agents can and cannot do. So that's what I'm going to be discussing today, since I'm getting ready for open enrollment to start pretty soon. Come October 15th, it's going to be here before we know it. So a little less than 2 months we've got to go. So thought, I usually do this every year just to get, all the volunteers ready for, open enrollment and what to look for, because a lot of the beneficiaries will just tell you in passing or whatever, if you're doing their counseling or whatever for their plans, they'll tell you, hey, so-and-so's been calling me or whatever. And so that's why I really do this training right before open enrollment. So here is the 2020 Medicare Communications and Marketing Guideline. Believe it or not, it's still in draft form. So they didn't make a whole lot of changes. They just made a few changes from, and it's pretty much the same as last year. So they really haven't made any changes to this. So here it is. You can look them up. It's several different pages. It's a very lengthy document, so that's why I haven't put it on here. But here's the link to it. You can always go under the CMS website and look that up. So, and here's, of course, most of the time, every year, the commission rates for the agents, brokers actually change every year. So here's what they are for next year, starting January 1st. Here's what their compensation rates will be next year. And believe it or not, they actually went up, which they always usually do. They only went up for a little bit, but here's the rates for next year. And this is why a lot of the agents are out there pushing Medicare Advantage plans so hard and heavy. It's because there's a huge difference between them selling someone an Advantage plan and selling someone a prescription drug plan. You can see the huge difference. So next year, starting, if it's the initial year, if it's their first year, they sign them up. Each agent will get $539. If it's a renewal year, like if that person actually stays on the plan, they get $270. So it benefits the agents to sign them up for an Advantage plan. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but we got to look out for the bad agents out there. So next year, if they sign up for a prescription drug plan, the initial year is $81. Renewal years are $41. There is also a referral/finder's fee. For MA plans, it's $100. For prescription drug plans, it's $25. So as you can see from this year, this year the the Advantage plan compensation was $510. And the renewal was $255. So you can see it went up like $29. So for next year it's $539, and for the renewal year it's $270. So as you can see, this is why agents push these Advantage plans so hot and heavy. And I said that's not a bad thing. Sometimes that's a good thing. There's others out there that love the Advantage plans. It's just we got to get the bad apples out. So updates from the 2020. They just changed some of the language on some of these. Under the marketing through unsolicited contacts, they changed. If you have a potential enrollee provides permission to be contacted, the contact must be event specific and may not be treated as open-ended permission for future contacts. So that's just some wording change that they have done. So pretty much, no unsolicited contact is allowed whatsoever. And that's through, I should redo that. That is phone calls and home visits. They can, all the plans can, do mail and actually email, which is another thing that's changed. The plans can actually send out emails now, as long as there is an opt out in that, where the beneficiaries can opt out to receive those emails. So as long as that's there, then that can change. That they can do that. That's allowable. So let's see some other changes. Marketing of rewards and incentive programs. Deleted the third bullet and be provided in conjunction with information about plan benefits. Deleted the fourth bullet, including information about rewards and incentive programs offered by the MA plan. So here's some of the just minor wording changes, some of the bullets that they took out, things like that. Of course, outreach activities, there's the different kinds. There's two different kinds of outreach activities. One is educational, and that's where they are talking about general terms for Medicare, like what does Medicare Part A cover? What does Medicare Part B cover? That's the educational stuff. They cannot, during these educational events, they cannot conduct marketing or sales events during those. So that's another thing. So if it's a marketing sales event, they can actually have their plan information there, how much their plans cost, that sort of thing. In the educational events, they are not supposed to have any plan information out whatsoever. Now, they can have like cards out, or, if you want more information kind of thing, they can have those where, you can fill out the cards and someone will be contacting you. They can do those. So just keep in mind the different events. And they have to market these. One, if they market it, they have to market it as an educational event, or if they market it, they have to market it as a marketing/sales event. So two different types of events. Activities in healthcare settings. I know we have a lot of sometimes issues with these, where they're trying to market at doctor's offices and things like that. That it is, they cannot have that in back in the doctor's office, I should say. So stuff like that, you have to watch out for, things like that. There are some, doctor's office will say, here's the plans that I accept. Doctors can do that. Just that's an education thing. That's just the doctors letting the beneficiaries know, these are the plans I take or I accept. Or, could be they only take one Advantage plan. So this is the only Advantage plan that I accept. I mean, but that's doctors educating their beneficiaries. There is nothing wrong with that. The problem is if they have, just that information out there, out in like the waiting rooms and stuff like that. As I said, let's see, there was a little bit of change. Websites, they must update their fourth bullet to read, include, or providing access to applicable disclaimers as required, and they have to have a disclaimer in there that they are not associated with, CMS, Medicare, that sort of thing. There's some, document changes. I tell beneficiaries, make sure you are looking for these annual notice of changes or evidence of coverage. That'll explain, what changes are coming up. And sometimes they sneak these in with their explanation of benefits, or they put it all in the same document. So they have to make sure that their, beneficiaries are actually reading their explanation of benefits, benefit summaries, whatever their plans are calling them. So they need to read their mail. A lot of beneficiaries don't read their mail. So we have to encourage beneficiaries, please read your mail, especially if it's from your plan that you currently have. That way you know what the changes might be, because some of them get blindsided, think, well, there's not any changes, and then come to find out that, their plan is no longer covering one of their high price medications. And even though it was in that, annual notice of change, or, evidence of coverage, they didn't read that. So it was almost like it was too late to, for them to switch. The good thing about switching, to an advanced plan, now they've got that open, they call it open enrollment for the Advantage plans, January 1st through March 31st. So that's a good thing. So if they, don't read that, and then they find out, their plan doesn't pay for their medicine now, we can actually switch them to a different plan that would cover that medicine. So that's a good thing. For the open enrollment for the Advantage plans. But please, please encourage beneficiaries to read these. Some reminders, told you about the email. They can solicit through email. I said they have to have that opt-out function. If you all receive or something, or if you know if somebody's received an email that does not have that opt-out function, please let me know so that I can get that reported. So they are permitted to unsolicited contact through conventional mail, print media, advertisements. I mean, you all see all these TV advertisements. What's his name? The football player that's selling that one Advantage plan that everybody wants to be on because they see it. They do the advertisements for, you can get free dental and free, eyeglasses. They do all these advertisements. So keep in mind, this is all legal. Where it comes down to is, agents and brokers still cannot make unsolicited phone calls to beneficiaries or approach beneficiaries in common areas. So that's the big thing. I know especially with this COVID crisis going on, beneficiaries are getting tons of phone calls from these unsolicited agents, brokers, whoever is calling them. Because I've already had to switch, I don't know how many, from an Advantage plan after the Advantage plan open enrollment. I just got an the other day where they switched someone starting June 1st. So, and this beneficiary has dementia. So, of course, she didn't remember the agent's name, but if you do any presentations, please encourage beneficiaries to write down the name, first name, last name of who they actually talk to. They need to take notes. Don't sign up over the phone. Make sure that they do their homework first before they ever sign up. If they're wanting to switch to a plan, make sure they have checked with all of their providers, and I do mean all their doctors, all their specialists, if they're getting any durable medical equipment, if they're getting any home health, anything like that, they need to check with all of their providers to make sure that they take that plan before they ever sign up. Because let me tell you, agents do not tell the truth. I'm not saying all of them, but the ones I've been dealing with have not told the truth to the beneficiaries. Just had one that, oh, yeah, all your doctors take this plan, when in fact none of her doctors take this plan. So you've got to do your homework first before you ever sign up. So please, if you're ever talking to any beneficiaries, please tell them, take notes, good notes, first name, last name of who you talk to. And if they refuse to give you that information, then you don't need to be talking to them, and it's okay to hang up. Sometimes it's better to call the plan yourself instead of talking to an agent if it's a plan you're wanting, but I highly encourage, please do your homework first. Of course, I've talked about the open enrollment period for the Advantage plans. It was just January 1st through February 14th, but now it's been changed from January 1st to March 31st. So that's a good thing. As I said, if they don't look at their evidence of coverage or any, annual notice of change, then at least we can change them to a different plan during that period. And of course, the annual enrollment period has not changed and will not change that I know of. It is still October 15th through December 7th. This year it's going to look a whole lot different. But, it's still happening whether we like it or not. So some things to remember, especially when you're talking to beneficiaries. Know the rules, and this is why I always do this. Know the rules how agents plans can contact and market. So this is one of the real reasons why I do this PowerPoint or presentation every year to let y'all know what agents can and cannot do. Another good thing to look at is, I usually hand out the two-sided, the rules and stuff like that. I usually hand that out every year. I've actually can match that or send that out to you all later. Usually have a copy of that. So know the rules. And I said I'm giving you that CMS communications and marketing thing so y'all can look it up. Know how to avoid potential enrollment fraud. Know how to protect yourself from enrollment fraud, and know how to report suspected fraud and marketing violations. So that's 4 things to remember. So how can we avoid enrollment fraud? Watch out for people or the agents. There's agents out there that pressure you with time limits and that's why it's very important to educate the beneficiaries about their time limits. Let them know, hey, open enrollment is through December 7th. If you have an Advantage plan, there's a new open enrollment from January 1st through, March 31st. So let them know their time limits. And don't let agents pressure them. Well, if you don't sign up by whatever time, then we won't be able to do anything. Some of them say that they'll lose their Medicare if they don't switch, or who knows. I mean, agents say all sorts of different things. Watch out for people who are asking for Medicare numbers, Social Security numbers, bank information over the phone. So if that's something that they pressure you into doing, just hang up on them. Threatening you with loss of your Medicare benefits if you don't sign up. So there's I've reported some agents that have done that. Offer gifts to enroll. Now, they can offer an enrollment gift, but they have to offer the gift to everybody, even if they don't enroll. So that's one thing. If it's just for people that enroll, let me know so that I can report them, and I need documentation for that. Like if it's a sign that they've got up or something like that, if you can get a picture of that sign or something like that, please, pass it on to me. Any that say they represent Medicare. I have talked to so many agents that say that they represent Medicare. They do not. Medicare does not employ insurance agents. And I've even had some say that they work for Humana or whatever. Most insurance agents do not work for the plans themselves. They are contracted. So they're an independent agent who is contracted with whatever Advantage plan. That's how some of them work. But they're supposed to say that they're an independent agent. They do not work for Medicare. Watch out for, as I said, those uninvited phone calls. If you can, if you don't recognize the number, and I tell beneficiaries this, if you don't recognize the number, don't answer it. Or if it's someone, if you do answer it, it's someone saying they're from Medicare, hang up. Don't even talk to them. Definitely, if it's somebody, if you can get as much information, their name and what company they work for or who they're saying that they're with, please get as much information as you can so I can report them. Things like that. So how can you protect yourself from enrollment fraud? Another thing is protect your Medicare number and Social Security number, especially in these unsolicited phone calls. If they start asking for stuff like that, hang up. rely on the government websites, and I'm talking about the governments, not, and we're talking Medicare.gov, Medicare.gov. Medicare.com is actually a Advantage plan company, or a company selling Advantage plans. So you have to rely on the government websites, and if it is a government website, it will have .gov at the end. Watch out for emails based on unbiased information. If someone needs something translated, definitely request the, translation services. Confirm everything that an agent tells you before making a final decision. If you can, get it in writing. Have them send you something, get it in writing before you ever sign up. Don't sign any blank forms. I always tell beneficiaries, do not sign any blank forms. Make sure beneficiaries know their rights, that they can choose whatever Medicare coverage they want. They don't have to be forced into an Advantage plan or something like that. They have a choice. They need to do their homework before they sign up, review any annual notice of changes, evidence of coverage. Think about, what matters most. Does it fit their budget? Does it cover all their drugs? That's stuff that they need to check into. Don't rely on what the agent or broker has told them. Ask all your physicians, hospitals. That's one thing I didn't say. Hospitals, DME, home health. Check all of those. Another thing to check is in the star ratings. Is this a rated plan or not? Because some are, you don't want to sign somebody up for an underrated plan if you can. And check to see what those ratings are. It could be, customer service related issues. Who knows? But check those star ratings, and you can find those all on Plan Finder. So here's some rules that I've, given out there, meeting with an agent. During the meeting, get as much plan information as you can, get the plan material. So during this meeting, and this is something like an appointment has been scheduled. In order for an agent to come out to your home, there has to be an appointment scheduled, and it has to be known as to why they're coming out there. They're coming out there for an Advantage plan. They're coming out there for life insurance. If they're coming out there for life insurance, they can't sell you an Advantage plan while they're there. That's a no-no. There has to be a scope. It's called scope of appointment, which means that has to be filled out and let the beneficiary know that that's what they're coming out here for. So during that meeting, they can give out plan materials, tell you how to get more plan information. They can tell the beneficiaries about the plan options that was agreed to be discussed. They can give you an enrollment form. They can collect completed enrollment forms. They can actually leave their business cards and things like that. That's another thing. If you can get the business card, because if the agent or broker has actually, told the agent some untruths, then it's more likely that I can get them switched to a different plan, especially if the agent has lied to them. So it's always good to get a business card, or at least definitely get the first name, last name. So here's some more rules from meeting with an agent. Agents cannot charge a fee to process their enrollment. That's a no-no. They can't steer you to a particular plan unless that's the only plan that they can sell. But they, a good agent will give you options. They cannot communicate incorrect information. Like, this is the best plan for you, the highest rate plan, take all your doctors kind of thing. They cannot communicate incorrect information. tell you about other plan options you haven't agreed to discuss. Like I said, if you're out there to discuss life insurance and they try to sell you an advantage plan, that's a no-no. Can't pressure you to join the plan by saying you have to join this plan or you won't have next year. They cannot say that. They cannot threaten them with termination of their Medicare. Because that just frightens all the beneficiaries. They can't ask you to give names and phone numbers of other people, like friends and family, so that they can sell to them. They can ask, but you don't have to give. They cannot ask you to sign the enrollment form before they're ready. So that's another thing. Agents will try forcing, and I've even had agents forge beneficiaries, signature on the enrollment forms. Because I've had beneficiaries say, well, I told them that, I didn't want to sign up. I wanted to do my homework, and I would let them know. Yet come to find out they still enrolled her anyways. So I've had dealing with those before. Here's some examples of enrollment fraud that I've dealt with. Agent enrolling a beneficiary in a plan without their permission. Agent tell the beneficiary that their physician takes the plan. Agent offered free trips, meals, in return for signing up. And again, if they do offer a gift, that gift can no longer cannot be over like $15. So they can't offer any trips or things like that. It cannot be over $15. The agent cannot misrepresent the plan benefits. Like they have to tell them, how much their premium will be. Does all their medicines. So if they've told them anything wrong about their plan benefits, then we can get them usually switched. Agents cannot tell beneficiaries that if they do not sign up that they're going to lose their Medicare. This is all fraud. So how can you report, enrollment fraud? Definitely y'all know my number. You have my contact information, my email. Please get as much information from the beneficiary that you can. If they have anything, proof-wise, signed papers, business cards, marketing material, anything, phone records, anything like that, please get a copy of that so that I can submit that with my referrals to CMS as proof. Because most of the time we can get these agents, I can get them, I report them to the Department of Commerce and Insurance. And they do actually investigate the agents. Because some of the agents have actually, not the agents, but the investigators have actually called me about some of the referrals that I have done before. So they do look at them. So if I can get as much information as possible, definitely first name, last name. I have to have that. I can't have just Mr. Jones, because you don't know how many people are Mr. Jones selling insurance in the state of Tennessee. I have to have a first name, last name, phone number, any contact information, phone number, address, anything that would help is beneficial. So here's some things to look out for that we can do. Bogus Medicare representatives. If they say they're with Medicare, most of the time they're not. So they shut the door on them, hang up, whatever. Anything in their threatening loss of coverage. I've seen some of these fake rebate notices where some things to look for during open enrollment, these fake rebate notices like, we paid, you paid too much for your medication, you're going to be getting a rebate. Call your plan to make sure that is, credible before you cash the check. Watch out for counterfeit sales materials, because the scammers are out there. They can actually get someone's logo and just pop it on any type of materials they want to. Watch for the fake emails. Ryan and my email was being spoofed the other day. So we were sending out some, well, it wasn't actually from us, but so, you know, these scammers are out there. They will spoof emails. Right now, they're, you know, calling Medicare beneficiaries claiming to be from Medicare. One of the hottest ones right now is, you know, we've got the COVID-19 scams going around. We've got the brace scams. The brace scams have not stopped. They are still going on because I just got one the other day where one of the they sent a box of braces to one of the public guardianship clients. So those scams are still happening. So if, you know, scammers are calling claim to be from Medicare, anything like that, and I've been telling beneficiaries, I get calls constantly that they keep getting calls claiming to be from Medicare, asking about pain. I've been telling the best thing I can tell you to do is hang up. Scammers do not follow those do not call lists. So if it's phone numbers you don't recognize, even if it's a local phone number, because the scammers are spoofing local phone numbers so they would think it would be more beneficiary for you to answer if it's coming from a local phone number. So keep that in mind. So keep that in mind when you are getting those. Let's see, next one. So here's a case example that I've dealt with before. Rick was considering using Medicare's open enrollment period to switch from original Medicare to a Medicare Advantage plan. In October, and that's the thing, agents cannot start representing the 2021 plans until October. So keep that in mind. If they start selling stuff in September, that's a no-no. They cannot start until October. In October, a representative from a Medicare Advantage plan visited Rick's home unannounced. The plan representative explained the benefits of his company's Medicare Advantage plan, including coverage for dental cleanings. Rick was interested in this plan and completed a form he believed would simply allow him to receive more information. 3 months later, in January, Rick received an insurance card from this plan in the mail, along with a welcome packet. Rick is confused because he does not remember enrolling in this plan. He worries that he may have been a victim of fraudulent marketing practices. So what do y'all think? Anybody? Yes, you're correct. He was. He was. So the first mistake was he did a unannounced home visit, which is definitely a no-no. Another thing was that Rick only wanted to get more information. So the agent signed him, enrolled him in a plan without his permission. So that's the two things. So yes, this is stuff that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. So if you find any agents that come to anybody's home unannounced without an appointment, definitely, you know, if the beneficiary only wants more information and yet they come to find out they've been changed to a different plan, please let me know. Get as much information and definitely get the agent's name, contact information if you can. So that's the example. I deal with this all the time. So here's some resources that you all can look up. The manuals, definitely, you know, look at those. In the SMP training guide, there is the do's and don'ts of what agents can and can't do, or the marketing guidelines. Please look at those in those training manuals that I have given out to all the beneficiaries. You all should have, or not the beneficiaries, but all the volunteers. You all should have one. If you don't have one of those, please let me know, because I will definitely mail you a copy of it. You can email me and let me know. But it has the do's and don'ts on there. It's several pages in that training manual. Other manuals that you can look up, there's several, like Medicare manuals, the CMS, the communications manual, you can look it up. All that's on the CMS website. So here's some other regulations that you all can look at. And all these agents have actually been trained. Medicare puts out there, the training guidelines and the tests. So the agents have to go through these tests, and they're supposed to pass these tests before they'll be able to sell any Medicare products. So any questions? I'm open for questions. And I went through this pretty fast.
Hey, Lonnie, this is Penny.
Hey.
Hey, what's your email address? Because I have an example of someone had stated that they had asked for like their bank account information. I'm thinking they must have called the wrong number when I had told them to call SHIP to seek assistance from a counselor.
Okay. I'll type in my email address.
I'm using a phone because I'm on the go, so I had to call in. But you should have my email address, pennyricks@gmail.com.
I think so. Okay, so Penny, I will email you.
Okay, and I'm also going to send you the screenshot of the message I'd gotten from my friend.
Okay, cool. Okay.
All right, thanks.
Okay, anybody? Any questions? Any more questions?
Lonnie, there's no questions in the chat.
Okay. All righty. Do you want to, I guess, stop the recording and see if anybody has any questions then?